one does not simply walk into Fantasy Springs. It is heavily guarded by not only cast members, but behind the gates of the DPA and standby pass. It is a fool's errand to forge ahead without a plan. Hey explorers, are you wanting to visit Fantasy Springs, the newest expansion at Tokyo DisneySea? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain the different ways that you can gain access to this new area because one does not simply just walk in. Fantasy Springs is the newest expansion at Tokyo DisneySea, which opened on June 6th, 2024, and it is the 8th port of call in the gorgeous Tokyo DisneySea Park. Inside Fantasy Springs, you'll find 4 attractions: Rapunzel's Lantern Festival, Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey, Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure, and Fairy Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies. There's also places to eat, so you can go to Lookout Cookout, which is themed after the Lost Boys. Then we have the Snuggly Duckling, which is themed after Tangled, and the Royal Banquet of Arendelle, which, of course, is Frozen. There's also a little snack stand, Oaken's OK Foods, and a little popcorn stand where you can get the newest popcorn buckets, and you can also try the roast beef popcorn. But wait, that's not all. There's also a brand new hotel called the Tokyo DisneySea Fantasy Springs Hotel, which is Art Nouveau style, and it is the second hotel inside Tokyo DisneySea. The other one is the Hotel Miracosta. How awesome is that? What is that, Duffy? I should tell them about the Disney Premier Access and Standby Pass because I mentioned a lot throughout this video and it could be confusing if I don't explain it first. Yeah, I agree. So throughout the video, I'm going to be talking about the Disney Premier Access and Standby Pass. I'm going to be referencing it a lot. So really quickly, these are services that are done through the Tokyo Disney Resort app. So make sure you have that downloaded ahead of time. And if you have any tickets, make sure you scan them into the app, just so you're well prepared. The Disney Premier Access is a paid service that you pay per ride to basically skip the line at these attractions. Think of it as a lightning lane. That's probably the best way to describe it. The Standby Pass, the best way to describe it is it's sort of like a virtual queue. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It is included with your ticket. And the Standby Pass and Disney Premier Access are available for the different rides inside Fantasy Springs. And for both of these services, you have to be scanned into the park. You can't do it outside of the park. You can't do it ahead of time. None of that. It's once you're inside the park on the day of your visit. Now, if you're someone who doesn't have a smartphone for whatever reason, or maybe your credit card is not working, there are ways to buy the Disney Premier Access and get a Standby Pass. Just talk to one of the cast members and they'll be able to help you. Usually you have to go to guest services. The easiest and most expensive option is getting yourself a Tokyo Disney Resort vacation package. And this works with any of the Tokyo Disney Resort hotels. So that includes the Fantasy Springs Hotel, Tokyo DisneySea Hotel Miracosta, the Toy Story Hotel, the Tokyo Disneyland Hotel, the Disney Ambassador Hotel, and the Tokyo Disney Celebration Hotel. As long as you book a vacation package with any of those hotels, you get a special 1-day Fantasy Springs Magic Ticket. And this magical ticket gets you guaranteed access into Fantasy Springs. You can come and go as much as you want all day. It also includes your entry into the rest of DisneySea as well. So you can pop in to Fantasy Springs first thing in the morning, do a couple of rides, and then go enjoy the rest of DisneySea and then come back to Fantasy Springs in the evening. This is the most hassle-free way of doing this. Another perk of getting the vacation package is you can also book the restaurant inside the Fantasy Springs Hotel. They have a buffet in there. That is a pretty nice perk because regular day guests or people that are just staying at the other Tokyo Disney Resort hotels, they can't get into that restaurant. It's typically reserved only for guests staying inside the Fantasy Springs Hotel. But if you have a vacation package, you can book it. So there's nothing for you to do in terms of Disney Premier Access, Standby Pass, none of that stuff. You don't have to do any of that for Fantasy Springs because this magical ticket, you can ride everything as many times as you want. You can go in as many times as you want, in and out. It's very simple and hassle-free. Now, the only downside to this is vacation packages are not cheap, but if this is a once-in-a-lifetime trip, this is probably the easiest way to make sure that you can get into Fantasy Springs. As for when vacation packages become available, you can check the Tokyo Disney Resort website on the reservation website. They do put out a little news bulletin when they're opening up the vacation packages, because they open them up in month blocks. They open them up differently than just hotel reservations. Hotel reservations are 4 months ahead of time for each date, whereas vacation packages, they open them up in month blocks. So just recently they opened up the month of October. And I just wanted to reiterate, you have to get the vacation package to get this ticket. If you just book a regular Disney hotel, except for the Fantasy Springs Hotel, which I'll get to in a second, you don't have access to this special ticket. So just keep that in mind. Another option is being a guest at the Fantasy Springs Hotel, which you may have guessed, if you're staying at the Fantasy Springs Hotel, you have guaranteed entry into Fantasy Springs. You can come and go from Fantasy Springs as much as you want because you have an exclusive entrance into the area, because the Fantasy Springs Hotel is in Fantasy Springs. Not only can you use the entrance that is inside the hotel, there's also an archway that you see from the monorail station. That, based off of my research, is only for hotel guests as well. So when you're staying at the Fantasy Springs Hotel, as I mentioned, you have guaranteed entry, but you also have the ability to buy this special one-day magic passport that I mentioned with the vacation packages. Now, this is an extra cost. It's not included with your stay. You do have to pay extra for it, but it is an option for your day at Tokyo DisneySea. So if you're staying at the Fantasy Springs Hotel, I mean, why wouldn't you buy this to get into Fantasy Springs? So just make sure you do this. Now, the Fantasy Springs Hotel is a little difficult to get a reservation for because everybody wants it. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, regular hotel bookings open up 4 months ahead of time for your date. So what's today? I'm recording this on June 3rd. So June, July, August, September, October. So October 3rd is opening up. So today, if I wanted to book 2 nights, I would get on the website and pray that I can get one. And you can book up to 5 nights. And remember, with the Fantasy Springs Hotel, there are 2 sides. There is the Fantasy Chateau and the Grand Chateau side. And of course, the Grand Chateau is going to cost a lot more than the Fantasy Springs side. I don't know why I pointed at Duffy. Now we're going to get into the more complicated and a little more convoluted way to get into Fantasy Springs, but I'm going to do another costume change. That's better. The other option to get into Fantasy Springs, and this is probably what a lot of people are going to end up doing, is having to get a Disney Premier Access or Standby Pass. Now, this is for people that haven't done the Disney Vacation Package or staying at the Fantasy Springs Hotel. This whole next section is for people that have a one-day ticket for Tokyo DisneySea. So once you have your ticket for Tokyo DisneySea, you're going to want to line up really early to try and get yourself a Disney Premier Access or Standby Pass. It's hard to say how quickly they're going to go. I can imagine it's gonna fluctuate a lot, but based off of what I've been seeing with the soft open and everything, they go really quickly. So you should probably get there 2 to 3 hours ahead of time, even earlier before the official park open. And the parks do typically open up the gates earlier than the posted time. So for the last, I think, few years, the opening time has been for 9 a.m. But depending on the crowd level, they may actually start letting people in a lot earlier. So they could start letting people in at 8:15, 8:30, 8:45. It does change on a regular basis. And before the regular day guests, the happy entry people are going to be allowed into the park first. So they're going to have first dibs on the Premier Access and the Standby Pass. But from June 6th onwards, only guests staying at the Hotel Miracosta and the Fantasy Springs Hotel are going to have that early entry into Tokyo DisneySea. If you're a hotel guest at any other the Disney hotels, whether you're a regular hotel guest or Disney Vacation Package guest, you are not going to get the early entry into Tokyo DisneySea. You're only going to have it for Disneyland. So if you're staying at the Hotel Miracosta, you're going to get in 15 minutes early before everybody else. And they do tell you when that entry is ahead of time. They're going to give you a slip of paper that tells you when you can go in. So then you're going to have first dibs on getting the Premier Access and Standby Pass. A quick refresher. So the Disney Premier Access is the paid option for skipping the line. So think of it as a paid lightning lane. That's effectively what it is. And it's all done through the app. Then the standby pass is, think of it as a virtual queue, essentially. It's included with your ticket, meaning you don't have anything extra to pay for, but you do have to do it through the app. And all of this can only be done once you're inside the park. You don't do it ahead of time. You have to have everyone's tickets scanned into the park. You have to physically go through those turnstiles and scan everybody's tickets into the park. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to get a Disney Premier Access or a standby pass. That's very, very important. Very important. So once you're inside the park, get yourself a Disney Premier Access or a standby pass. I recommend going for the Disney Premier Access first. I know it's the paid option, but you're going to have a shorter wait time for the attraction that you pick it for. I would say either try for Peter Pan or Frozen. Those seem to be the more popular ones. And based off of what I'm seeing, the Disney Premier Access is actually running up first because there's probably less of them. So go for that for one of the attractions. And then after that, get a standby pass for another attraction. And once you have either the DPA or the standby pass, you are going to be given a time that you can go into Fantasy Springs. It's going to say it right in your app what time you can actually go into the area. So you cannot go into the area before that. Just keep in mind that you cannot come and go from Fantasy Springs. You're going to have to get another return time, meaning you're going to have to buy another Disney Premier Access or get a standby pass. And the chances of you being able to do that are a little slim right now because everyone wants to get into Fantasy Springs, so they're probably going to go really quickly. I've been seeing, as of now, with the soft opens, that the Disney Premier Access and standby pass have lasted like 10, 15, 20 minutes tops once guests are allowed into the park. The standby pass is available for all 4 of the attractions. So we have Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey, Rapunzel's Lantern Festival, Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure, and Fairy Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies. You can get another standby pass once every 2 hours, or if your previous standby pass has already started. You can check in the app. It'll tell you the time that you can get your next standby pass. As for the Disney Premier Access, it is available for all the attractions except for Fairy Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies. It is only available for Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey, Rapunzel's Tangled Festival. I'm saying these names way too much. We're just going to leave that one in. And Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure, and it costs 2,000 yen, which is like $15 US, something like that, per person. And you can only ride it once, and you get access to the special priority access line. And you can buy another Disney Premier Access 60 minutes after you bought your previous one, or if the time has already started for the one that you just bought, you just check the app again. It'll have the time on there for you when you can get your next one. You cannot line up for any of these attractions without having a Disney Premier Access or a standby pass. So you can't just walk up to the ride and wait in line. That's just not an option right now. If this sounds really stressful, well, it kind of is. But if you want to maybe increase your chances a little bit and pay just a little bit more, you know, you don't want to pay for the vacation package or the Fantasy Springs hotel, but you don't want to rely on just a one-day ticket. You could stay at the Hotel Miracosta, as I mentioned. That is one of the only hotels that is going to get the 15-minute early entry into DisneySea, other than the Fantasy Springs Hotel, after June 6th. So those 15 minutes is actually going to make a lot of difference because you're going to have first dibs on buying the Premier Access and getting the standby passes. It's also going to take you about 20 minutes to walk to Fantasy Springs from the Miracosta, which is near the front of DisneySea. Everyone's going to be walking that way. It takes about 20 minutes. I timed it. It's 20 minutes. That park is a very weird shape. And just remember, there's a few things you need to keep in mind. Once you are inside Fantasy Springs, you will need either a Disney Premier Access or standby pass to be able to ride the attraction. So if you don't have one of those, you can't just get into a regular standby line because they don't have that yet. Don't know how long that's going to last for, how long this system is going to be in place, but I expect it to be at least for the rest of the year. It could go longer. We really don't know. So you just have to keep an eye out on the Tokyo Disney Resort website, and we'll also update you here on our channel and also on our website. I want to reiterate, you're probably going to have to get there really early. Just get there as early as possible if you have a regular day ticket. If you are someone who has the special Fantasy Springs Magic ticket that I mentioned, you could just waltz right in pretty much. So you don't need to line up early. But if you're on a regular day ticket, yeah, you should probably get there minimum 2 hours, but try and get there earlier. And also just keep an eye on Twitter, because people do post about this stuff and, you know, things change. So it's best to maybe check a couple days before you're planning to visit, just to kind of see what the situation is. For the time being, you are going to have to do mobile order for the restaurants. So just keep that in mind. Once you're inside the area, then I would do the mobile order and pick a time slot, obviously, that would work for you. And hopefully you can try all the different food. My advice would be to get a mobile order for the Royal Banquet of Arendelle first, because that one seems to be the more popular option. And also the food is more hearty, so you'll be full a little bit longer. And you can try the other restaurants maybe later in the evening. I think that's probably the best course of action. So try the Arendelle restaurant for lunch, and then one of the other ones for maybe a late lunch, early dinner, late dinner, you know, whatever works for you. Getting a mobile order for one of the restaurants doesn't get you into the area. So don't do any mobile ordering until you know you can get into Fantasy Springs, because just because you have a mobile order doesn't mean they're going to let you in. You have to have your time to go in to Fantasy Springs to pick up your order or dine at the restaurants. And just remember, things might change since the recording of this video. I will try and keep our guide on our website up to date, so you can scan the QR code on the screen. You can go and check it out on our website. And always check the Tokyo Disney Resort official website, because they will update there first, of course. And their FAQ on Fantasy Springs is pretty detailed. I didn't go through everything in here because that would take a very long time. And some of the stuff is very specific, so I implore you to go there and read through it, because yeah, there's a lot of information there. If you haven't already, make sure you check out our guidebooks, our digital guidebooks on Tokyo Disney Resort and Universal Studios Japan. It has everything you need to know to plan your perfect trip, from how to choose what hotels to stay at, where to eat, what rides to do, how all these things work, like Premier Access, Standby Pass, Entry Requests, Express Passes. All that stuff is explained to you. And we also give a whole bunch of different Japanese phrases that are specific to the theme parks. Very useful. Make sure you check it out. Scan the QR code up on the screen and just make your life easier. We put so much work and love into these books. I want to share them with you. So please go check it out. Oh, I really loved Fantasy Springs. It's such a wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous area. Everyone that worked on it did such a wonderful job. You can go check it out by watching the video up here. All right, explorers. Bye. Say bye, Duffy. Ooh. Say bye, Duffy.